citizens remark. Can you pronounce that last name? Susan Shalamau. Can you pronounce that last name? She's not here.
No, I couldn't do that.
Do you know who she is, Ernie?
I think you did a pretty good job.
Shalamau was, I don't know, she's not here. If she happens to come in the next couple minutes, we'll still give her a couple minutes to speak, but as of right now, she's not here. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting? Any corrections?
I make a motion we approve the minutes as written. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Correspondence. I got another reminder about the pipeline. Are you guys gonna go to that?
I'm planning to, but the other guys didn't show too much interest.
Okay. I don't see an RSVP on that, but I guess you could, did you do the web code
Yeah.
to say you were going?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's wrong.
It's in Rome.
When is it?
September the 18th, registration at 5:30. That's a Wednesday.
That's a meeting, isn't it?
No,
I'm in there.
you aren't there.
I might do that myself. What time?
Registration's at 5:30. It's at the South Branch Inn in Romney.
I gotta get a little girls.
I'll get Phil to put down maybe at least three people going to give them a heads up. I don't know if this goes under correspondence, but with that water leak we had, what was that, Thursday?
First.
Ben asked me to reach out, and he's been reaching out to the delegates, and I got a hold of Gary Howe. I didn't get a hold of him, but then I left messages. He sent me back. I have been working on the money from the governor's office for a little while now. I have also been working with the White House and the Public Service Commission. I will renew these efforts today. And then he sent one to Mr. Ashley. Do you know who that
Bob
is?
Ashley, yes.
He sent to him this Verso Luke Mill shutdown has caused another issue. It is still my understanding that Verso is planning on shutting down all water on October 31st. Getting this fixed is extremely time sensitive. I have previously spoke to your office on this subject, and I have been getting updates from Terry Lively at Region 8 and been working with the Public Service Commission since Verso has been acting as public utility. Can you please follow up with the mayor of Piedmont? And he answered back, sir, I'm out of my office till Monday, we'll work with them. But I have not heard anything from Mr. Ashley, so have you?
He's had a surgery and
Oh.
he will not be engaging in any kind of conversations. He's recuperating pretty well. I did hear from him, but he wasn't going to comment on anything business-wise because he wasn't in the office.
Okay.
And he said he will give it his utmost attention when he gets back, but for now he's recuperating.
Okay, and I went, was it last week or the week before, I went to the meeting of the Mineral County Development Authority. I didn't know that you had to be on the board of directors, which Ben had been on the board of directors. And they said we had to send a letter to appoint somebody to that position. And Ben said he would feel comfortable staying in that position. He knows everything, so I sent to the Mineral County Commission, dear commissioners, I am writing this letter to request Ben Smith remain the appointment on the Mineral County Development Authority Board of Directors. Ben was on the board while he was mayor of Piedmont, and I believe he has a good working relationship with other board members, as well as the knowledge to what projects are in the works. Being the mayor of Piedmont, I will gladly step in if needed for anything, but I feel Ben is a better fit for this position. Thank you for this consideration. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. So unless we hear back, I guess you'll remain on the board down there. And they always email you in the letter when the meetings are, so you know,
Yes.
okay. All right, so we should be okay with that then. Anybody else have correspondence?
I have some here, but I'm going to save them for on down under any business, if you don't mind.
Officers' reports? Nothing? Rick?
I don't have anything, Ernie has a few things I do believe.
Yeah, that leak Thursday night, it was a real cluster. We had just about every valve we could find shut off. And the only way we finally got the water shut off was go up to the reservoir and shut the two valves off up there. I know people were complaining about cloudy water, dirty looking water. There was not much we could do, and at the same time, earlier in the day around 11, Deborah from Verso texted me and said, we're going to switch you back over to raw water. It'll take about 2 hours, and they ended up busting a line and blowing a valve out, and I think it was Friday, sometime Friday, I wasn't here Friday, I saw that Tim was able to start treating water again. Of course, during the process when we shut the leak off and was filling lines back up, we had air blockage. We do not have any air relief valves at all on this system. I think we ought to look into getting some air relief valves put in to alleviate that problem.
Well, we have the hydrants in line, it's just as well. In fact, going through the gas lines and everything else, this is why they were put in. That the hydrants and all that was a viable source of air relief. But, you know, they are needed, but with all the, you know yourself going through town and trying to dig a hole. You got,
It's a nerve-wracking mess.
so that's one of the reasons that was alleviated.
The other issue we had were residents of the town. We had cones set up. We have metal signs, but the state road department will tell you not to use them because that's a no-no now. They want those nice soft signs so if somebody hits somebody, it don't kill them. But we had cones set up and we had people coming up, backhoe sitting in the middle of the road, work lights, guys working, yelling at us, well, why can't you move that backhoe so we can go through? Because we're working. And the road is shut down. And Mr. Marple's son parked his car up on one end finally, and so people would quit coming down and bugging us. But it was a nice mess. Hopefully we don't have another one like that for a while. That's all I got.
Dan?
Okay, we've got I got a couple of correspondences from Todd Swanson about the resolution to raise the water rates. What they're gonna be isn't totally ironed out yet, but the first reading on that will be on the 11th, which is our next meeting. The other thing is, Senator Manchin and Senator McKinley. I got replies from both of them on this emergency status for this, putting in these check valves and stuff over there. They're willing to get on board with this by this next meeting on September 4th with the IJDC. We had a meeting with the IJDC yesterday. That didn't go as well as planned. There was a lot of questionable issues that came up, which Region 8 and our engineers are going to have to address and have that ready for the September 4th meeting. That's when everything's going to really be decided. So hopefully that'll work out. I sent a letter out to all of the senators in West Virginia, including our state senators, which was Manchin and McKinley. And I got replies from Manchin, none from McKinley yet. I did get a reply from Wendy Madden, which is McKinley's field representative, and she's sending a letter to the IJDC recommending that we move forward with the project. The other thing is that I've got some correspondence from the Corps of Engineers. I've been emailing them, trying to find out why our dam has been breached up there way back when. And I'm trying to put together some information on why and who actually did the breaching. That's why our water intake is in the shape it's in. And I've been trying to do this for the last 3 to 4 years. Several times I brought this issue up to people that needed to know or should know why this happened, but never really got a good answer yet, and I got some answers to it. I'm going to move forward with that, hopefully to have that done before this IJDC meeting on the 4th of September. And I did get a call back from the Corps of Engineers today from a Mr. Joe Viardo from the DC office. They've kind of shifted me from place to place. I don't want to use the word runaround because they was putting me in touch with people that wasn't in our region. So I got with him today, and we're going to speak a little more tomorrow and try to get some help from the Corps of Engineers to rebuild our dam site and get our intake back in operation. The tap onto the water line at Westernport, the IJDC's wanting to put us onto potable water rather than raw water. I don't want to shut our water plant down because if you do, it will never reopen. So that's some of the fight that's going on through the IJDC. And Verso's been working with us as well as they can. They have their priorities too. So that's about all I had.
When you were talking with the people from the Corps of Engineers, did you bring up about the whitewater races?
I actually did, yes.
And they didn't say?
This was approximately 12 years ago. And people prior to us should have been working on this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know...
Actually, it was the one in the 80s that caused all the damage.
Well, no,
Yeah.
actually, well, yes and no. Because Marcus and...
When he had the Olympic trials.
when they had the Olympic trials, that's when they... Was that in the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have dates for that?
I was looking on the Herald trying to, I figured Mark Hood would have put something in the paper about that happening back then.
Well,
And I couldn't find anything, but I found some ads about when the whitewater races was gonna be and get ready for the whitewater races.
well, let me just read a question here, if I may. I ain't taking up too much time, but I think this needs to be brought up.
That was the Olympic Trail.
Okay, this is from,
86 or 87.
this was sent out, a message sent to the Corps of Engineers to McKinley's office, and the reply was, Ben, can you provide any additional details on the damage that was sustained at the reservoir? Army Corps of Engineers is looking into the history to try to understand their involvement. The person I was talking to hadn't heard of this before. When did the damage occur? Do you remember who was sponsoring the event? Where is the reservoir? Or anything else you can think of? He's looking into the history and understands that the request is for on-site inspection and repair. This was my request to the Corps of Engineers, and it's now going through Senator McKinley's office too, so that might be a good thing. So, you know,
I know the Army Corps of Engineers were the ones that were structuring the river
So
for that.
Just do like a post.
What was that?
Just make.
I know the Army Corps of Engineer was structuring Savage for the whitewater races. And I was told years ago, they hit our house and cracked it. And then when they were having the trials, they set up their judging stands or something right on our property up there,
yes,
Right on top of our intake building.
intake building.
yeah.
But
Now, this is some of the things that I need to get out there. I need to find the deed to the property up there with the GPS coordinates on it. That's one of the first things I need to do. And I'm not going to be able to do that until probably Friday. But if you're in here a lot, maybe you could look that up.
okay.
And I also have been trying to get in touch with Miss Senator Edwards from Maryland. I just got his numbers today, made one call, and it was late, and there was no answer. So I will follow up with that also.
Is that all you have?
Oh, I didn't mean to be so lengthy,
That's
but
okay.
we need to get this
Yeah,
laid
we're gonna
out.
get it, yeah. Hmm. What?
So come back around to me.
Oh, okay.
I had a couple things. There's going to be a prayer day back here at the city park. And we want it to be held on September the 7th at 12 o'clock. And that's all it is. We're asking everybody that would like to attend. There'll be refreshments, there'll be music, fellowship, and above all, there'll be prayer. So there's a group that is going to be doing that, so hopefully everybody will attend. That's one thing. It's back here on Water Street
What time?
at 12 o'clock. The weekend after Labor Day.
We'll make sure it's cleaned up and
Yes,
prepped for it.
yes. So hopefully there's a real nice turnout. The second thing, back there on Water Street, you know, Kaiser has a lot of things. We know that. How come Piedmont can't have some of those things? I know there's a lack of money, but there's not a lack of will, and there's not a lack of volunteers. There's not a lack of people that love this community like each and every one of us. So what I have in mind, I just want to bring it up for discussion, is I think we should have some sort of a stage back there on our park back there. Just like they have in Kaiser, nowhere near that big, nothing on that scale. We're not as big as Kaiser, we don't need that. But something for Piedmont, a stage back there where we can have gospel bands, we can have other bands and other programs and things right here in this town.
Well, I have my
People to come
library
back and,
programs back there, so that would be good.
yes,
For
I
my
think, it
magicians.
would be great.
We can put a movie screen up in there too.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot that can be
And use
done.
a stage for your movies and stuff also.
Exactly.
That's
I wanted to bring it up for discussion. I'm sure there's people, maybe people would donate. I don't know. I just want to get it out. And we can talk about it, everybody can think about it, and maybe come up with some ideas on how to do something like that. But I think it'd be great for the town, great for the people in this town. If it's religious or whatever it is, it can be used for whatever. I think that was it.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
I think that was it.
Yeah. I think that would be great back there.
I think it'd be great back there too.
Get a lot of use too.
Yeah, I think so. It didn't have to be on a big scale like Kaiser's, but it can be
Oh, so
something for our people.
when I call to get entertainment for the library and have it back there, they always ask, is there a place where we can set up, blah, blah, blah. And I just always tell him, I always put them at the end of the pavilion, but they're right there, which takes away from the seating.
Yep.
So if they would be on the stage, that would be ideal.
I have one other thing, Paul, I'm sorry. I was thinking today, what about, do we know of any grant writers?
We have one.
Do we have one?
It used to be Gary Mason, but she's no
You mean
longer-
Jerry Mason? Okay, yeah, I know Jerry.
But,
I thought the Mineral County hired somebody.
no, they was gonna hire this lady, and, she got sick. And she's not doing it at the present time, but if you know her, you could maybe give her a call.
Yeah, I know her very well.
That might be a good thing to do. I've contacted her before, but I don't know how she's coming along. I haven't really.
She's pretty sick.
Is she?
Yeah,
Well, that's why I never bothered her.
I guess she's pretty sick.
And the Mineral County, her Chamber of Commerce was supposed to be working on one for the county. And the money just ain't there for it. Because the ones that they found that was doing well, was wanting to be a salaried person. And it was up in the neighborhood of 40 to 50,000 a year.
Well, I guess what I'm asking, if, I know Jerry can't do it with her situation, but can I pursue, try to find somebody that, who does that? I'll find somebody, or try to, and I'll bring it here, and we can go from there. I think we'll get some money flowing into town. I think that's the way to do it. There might be funding there for a lot of things, you know. So. But if it's okay with the council and the mayor, I'll look into that and see if there's somebody out there. And I'll bring it here, present it to you.
We need to put that on the next agenda.
Okay.
I would say though that anyone that's trying to help could move forward with it, with the officials.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, under unfinished business, the change of date and time for council meetings. We've been talking to the municipal league, and I had looked at the charter. I don't know how and what council was in. Our charter states that our meetings should have been on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. I know at one time, they used to be on Mondays. And it says to change your charter, you have to have an ordinance. I couldn't find an ordinance that changed it. So I would like to change back to the charter, the original charter days, and do the first and third Wednesdays. So I'd like to have that put on the agenda for the next meeting, to move it back. And as for only having one, they told us it would be better that if you didn't have anything planned for a second meeting, that you could cancel your meeting, just, and advertise it just as you would if you were having a meeting. And that would leave you open for, if you have something important, that you would still be able to have your 2 meetings a month. So like I said, for the next meeting, I'd like us to be able to change our meetings back to the original, the way they should have been. I don't know who changed that or why. They don't have to be in the evening. I know Susie and Dawn have to work on Wednesdays, so if we could have them like in the afternoons, at like 1 or 2.
I work on,
And you work on Wednesdays? See, I do too. And it says that we can have them by phone if need be, but like I said, that's on the agenda now, but like I said, just finding this stuff out, I would like to put it on the agenda to move them back to where they're supposed to be, and see if we can find a way that this will fit everybody on the council, so we can have our original meetings the way they're supposed to be.
I'll make a motion, we move our Wednesday meetings from the 2nd and 4th to the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of the month.
Okay, yeah, it's on the agenda, we can do it. Okay,
I'll second
Okay.
that.
all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? So maybe at the next meeting, we'll talk about what time is good for everybody, because we gotta have a quorum, so we gotta make sure we can accommodate everybody. So we'll see what we can do. And discuss it further at the next meeting. But like I said, I would like to follow the charter. I don't know who got away from it, or if I just haven't found that ordinance. Somebody might have changed it because they couldn't come, but they should have kept with the charter as far as I'm concerned. So,
There was an ordinance at one time that put us 2nd and 4th.
oh, was there?
Yeah, cause I looked through that.
Oh,
where
you
it's
found
at.
that ordinance?
Where it's at, I don't know, but it was in one of those white books.
Okay, I think I was looking in the black one. So if there was an ordinance that changed it, I'll look, and at the next meeting, we'll decide if there was if I have found an ordinance. But like I said, I would still like to stick with the charter unless I find the ordinance that changed it. But I remember at one time in the past, they were on Mondays.
Was on Monday.
When we were on there
Mhm.
back in the 70s,
Yep, it was.
they were Mondays. And
Yep, I remember that.
I don't know who changed or why they changed it, but I'd like it to go back to the way it should be, or find the ordinance where it was changed. And see if we can change the time to accommodate everybody. Okay, discussion, resolution regarding water bill increase under new business, is that what you talked about?
Yeah, but I have all the particulars pretty much except some of the amounts of increases for the larger volume pipes. But we'll lay all that out and read the whole thing on the 11th.
Okay. So that will be water bill increase, that will go on the agenda,
Yeah, we need to keep that on the agenda for
because
the
we're gonna have the readings and everything, okay,
That'll be our first reading.
okay.
I gotta go through Todd Swanson from Steptoe and Johnson and make sure this is all legit.
We got 2 memorandums here from between the city of Piedmont and Region 8. One's for the emergency water project, and the other one is for the Phase 3 water project. This agreement made on this 28th day of August 2019 by and between Region 8 Planning Development Council, herein referred to as council, and the city of Piedmont, herein referred to as city. The council is a regional planning development council formed under the West Virginia State Code and empowered to provide technical assistance to local governments. Whereas the city is a local government requiring said service. Therefore, it shall be resolved that the city and council agree as follows. The council agrees to perform the following services in a professional manner. Assist in executing the grant agreement establish and maintain program and project files, assist in the removal of grant conditions, assist in establishing a financial management system, prepare program reports, including final progress reports, and assist city in responding to all correspondence, assist in obtaining competent professional services, review bid contract documents for completeness, assure compliance with program requirements, monitor contractor compliance with bids, monitor contractor activities and review payroll records, assist in preparation of application for certificate of convenience and necessity, assist in seeking funding from other sources, aid with property acquisition if needed, undertake other project-related tasks as may be requested by the city. They pretty much do all that anyway, don't they?
Yeah, but what that is, that's a binding letter saying that they're gonna be supportive toward all the changes if we
That we
need
need.
to, change orders that happen to come about.
Okay. And the other one's because of the emergency situation.
Yeah, but they basically read the same, right?
Yes, they're both the same. So I'm gonna need a motion to accept both memorandums.
Well, I'll make the motion that we accept them, because if we don't accept them, Region 8 will not be
A
our.
second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. We'll get these signed and get them back to Terry Lively. After he signs them, he'll send us the copies. Here's ones we got signed. Then the Dunn Engineering. Thank you for the opportunity to provide additional engineering services for the city of Piedmont. This letter will serve as amendment number 1 to our existing agreement of January 23rd, 2019, which has a current amount payable as $25,000 for services related to the water system improvements project. This amendment will adjust our fees and scope of services to provide additional services related to the installation of a temporary pressure reducing station near the old raw water pumping station to facilitate the change in the raw water source from the Verso's paper mill fire suppression system to the town of Westerport's raw water supply main, which operates at a pressure that is 100 psi greater than the existing Verso paper mill system. The scope of work will include coordination with the paper mill, preparation of design documents, solicitation of quotations, and construction engineering. The fees associated with these additional engineering services for the temporary pressure reducing station are as follows. The temporary PRV services, $35,000. So the total for amendment number 1 with the $25,000 and the $35,000 brings the total amount existing to $60,000. We appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve the city of Piedmont. If this amendment is acceptable, please sign and date both original copies where indicated. Keep one copy for your files and return one copy. Dunn Engineering.
That sounds a little bit out of line there, doesn't it? That is supposed to be payable through the grant from the IJBC and the governor's office.
Okay.
We need to clarify that before, I think we need to do it as follows, that we make a motion that we get it signed if it comes into the grant. That way there's no holdup after September 4th, but we don't wanna,
Sign something saying we're responsible for it.
yeah,
Okay. And it's calling us the owner of it, so that would make us responsible.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Need to get some clarification on that as to, are they charging us for that, or are they taking it through the grant? Or is Region 8 paying for it?
Okay. Should I call Pam and ask her tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Will do.
So, and in order to, move this forward by September the 11th, I'll make a motion that the contract be signed if all is fitting and paid by the grant.
Okay. Do I have a second to that?
I second
All in favor?
that.
Motion carried. I'll call her tomorrow and ask her about that. Or should we call Hapes about that? Oh, Pam has a copy of this, I will call her
Well,
and she can
Fred,
take a copy.
Fred Hikes is the one that wrote the letter,
Yeah.
so, you know, we don't wanna get stuck with
Right,
another bill and him getting paid from Region 8 too, so.
okay, I'll call Pam.
Okay.
All right. Okay, down to, we got a letter of resignation from our police officers. We received the letter, Mayor Boggs, this is to inform you that I will be resigning as of August 30th, 2019. This should give you time to find a replacement for my position. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the city of Piedmont for the time I have had here. Thank you, Jim Cummings. And then we received one that said, Chief Cummings, Mayor Boggs, this is to inform you that I will be resigning on the 17th of August from the Piedmont Police Department. I would like to thank the city of Piedmont for the time I have spent here. Thank you. Patrolman Clayton Perry.
Figured if one of them went, they was both going
So, being in this situation, I was talking to Robbie, is still in our books as a sergeant.
Chief, yeah, he's sergeant.
Sergeant now, and he said he would come back and help us and step in as chief, but he can't do it full-time. So we were talking to Eric Veach, that was a former officer here. He can do part-time, and since it's an emergency situation, we can hire him, but he's also gonna be on a part-time thing. So I believe we're gonna have to advertise to try to find another part-time one. But I think if we have 3 part-time ones that could fill a 40-hour void, we don't need 2 officers, we can go to 1 officer. If we can get the two guys to do 15 and Robbie do 10, there's a 40-hour week with just 1 officer on duty at a time. How's that sound with council?
Well, there's certain times for their safety that they need someone, but they also, now that we have the radios and stuff up and running, and our repeaters are working properly, Mineral County can be called in for backup. And that's a big thing too now, so, you know, if sometimes 2 of them together on a weekend or something works out better. But, you can direct them however.
And like I said, Veach is certified, he can do in-house training that will cost us nothing. He's got 5 pages of certifications, everything he's been through the academy and all his. He works at the college part-time, up at the college, that's why he can only do part-time, but like I said, we wouldn't have to send him to any training. And he can step in on September 1st after Chief Cummings leaves. And then we can advertise for another part-time officer to try to get another, find out how many hours Veach can work. And Robbie and let the 3rd officer pick up. We'd like to get somebody that we don't have to send to the academy and pay money for.
Right.
And maybe you could,
We can add,
schedule,
so,
so they overlap in those, on those times where we
yeah,
need more coverage.
yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we hire a 2nd or 3rd part-time police officer.
Okay, I'll get the ladies to advertise for that 3rd position. 2nd,
I say,
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. I'll get the ladies to put advertisement in the paper, and in that advertisement, I'd like to put that we would like to have somebody certified.
If
If
they'll
it
come
all
at
possible.
our price.
Yeah. or, like I said, we'll tell him to come in and get an application. Because Beach's application, his desired salary is less than what we were paying coming, so. If we can get people to work with that, then we would be saving for the money for the city also, so. Alright. Sounds good. I thought Jimmy might be here for the last meeting, but apparently not. Anybody have anything else? Okay, the next meeting will be September 11th, 2019.
And I'll make a motion with you.
I second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Opposed? This meeting's adjourned.